I remember when Byron Scott declared LeBron James, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard would join forces on the Lakers and create the next super team that could, perhaps, dethrone the Golden State Warriors. As we all know, reality is more disappointing than fiction, and as of right now, LeBron James is on a Lakers team that if they don't get Kawhi this or next offseason, will be practically guaranteed to be a washout in the playoffs next year and so forth. But what if a super team of Broad, PG, DeClaw, and Zoe wasn't as hyper-realistic as some skeptics may have thought? What if there was an actual way that Magic Johnson could have, and in my opinion should have, actually managed to bring a team of Big Three in Miami caliber together? A stark contrast to LeBron being in an arguably worse position in reality than he was in Cleveland, with truly just a bunch of role players surrounding him. With that said, let's fantasize. Before there was LA Braun, there were two primary storylines in Lakerland: LeVar Ball and the allure of the Lakers for the aforementioned superstars. Such an allure that you'd swear every day that you hear sports talk and hot take personalities horking Kawhi Leonard this and Paul George that. At that time, I was strong against any of these people going to LA. I swore up and down that the Kawhi Leonard trade rumors were fake news. I thought the Sixers would be able to steal PG away from the Lakers, and boy did I think the Rockets would be able to get away with adding LeBron. But as those series got trounced, I had a change of heart. And boys, there are no man that can change a man's view on a certain issue in basketball like the Mike or them up. I think when I watched him practically say that the one team that could win LeBron James a championship is a team up with Kawhi, PG, and Zoe, I started to become fascinated with the notion of the super team. A super team that would feature two top 5 players when healthy, plus another legitimate superstar. The Lakers would immediately become one of the best defensive teams on paper with Kawhi's pedigree, and PG's 2 steals per game plus LeBron at that either, and Zoe being one of the best defensive guards in the league. Then you throw in the fact that this threesome can switch on to many other positions and are quite versatile, and the fact that LeBron and Kawhi can plow the way for the team offensively, whilst PG can step up and go out for 30 points when needed. I'm also willing to say that Lonzo would play a similar-ish role to Rajon Rondo when he was on the Celtics, in my opinion. A lot of people would probably run me with a steamroller for comparing Zoe to an actually competent player, but that's just my opinion. In regard to how this team could have been put together and what Magic could have done differently, let's start with the 2017-18 Lakers salary cap table. Here we see some players of whom we do not need, and with that are going to keep us from freeing up 2 max contract slots. With that said, Magic did the right thing by letting the likes of Brook Lopez, IT, Channing Frye, KCP, Julius Randle walk. That in itself cleared the Lakers $62 million worth of cap space and brought the amount of cap space down from $104 million to about $39 million. Unfortunately, there's still not enough to sign 2 max contract players without staying under the luxury tax. So with that, we come to a player that in terms of cap hit and non-core production makes Joakim Noah's contract look alright. Luol Deng. Now, Magic elected not to rid this team of Deng, of which I actually think that that's not that bad of a move. For if Kawhi forces RC and Pop into the guillotine, they could use Luol Deng as a salary cap balancer. Although if I'm Magic, I may want to stretch Luol Deng so that the burden on the Spurs can be a little less, and so forth, like the trade package that they can offer a little more advertising. After all, since Magic did everything right and everything went right with getting LeBron, and we'll get Paul George in a second, we're assuming here that they already got Paul George, the Lakers can fully concentrate on a Kawhi trade. Now you may be wondering, Kawhi wants to go to an LA-based team, and there are other teams out there that could maybe get him. And the LA-based team thing entails that both the Lakers and Clippers have a chance. Well, the Clippers don't have LeBron. At the very least, Kawhi is going to only have a few role players to work with, and besides, I feel that Clippers are and should go into rebuilding mode because it's not like they're going to be competitive championship-wise with Kawhi by himself. And as for the other teams, Kawhi's coming off an injury-riddled season. He hasn't really proven that he can play up to the same level to a degree that he played in 2017, and plus he's sworn up and down solidly that he wants to be a Laker, so he's a big risk for any other non-LA-based team to take. Anyways, as for Paul George, the media had us convinced that he was practically guaranteed to be a Laker. Ryan Russillo even stated that he was done with OKC, and a lot of people believed it because Carmelo Anthony ruined the fun for the Thunder, and the Thunder got their butts kicked by the best defensive team in the NBA, led by a rookie, the Jazz, thereby making it easy to assume that he'd be happier with LeBron and Kawhi. And I certainly think that Paul George made the wrong decision by going back to OKC. Russell Westbrook has not proven that he can lead a team to a championship, and the lack of cap space limits the Thunder's options at bringing in better role players. Also, Russ apparently may not let the team's glue guy, Andre Roberson, a man that, when on the court, made the Thunder actually competent. And I could prove this by an account from Andre Roberson saying that he wasn't invited to the Paul George party. And overall, I just think this team isn't good enough, and if I were Paul George, I'd rather play alongside the real MVP, a two-time Defensive Player of the Year that could be the best defensive player in the league, and a top 5 player at least, and a point guard in Lonzo Ball that, in my opinion, is a quite bit more team first. But that's why fantasy is better than reality. Anyway, so we've assumed that the Lakers would have been able to clear up enough cap space to sign 2 max contracts, clocking in about $33-35 million each, players, and trade the rest of their assets to a Spurs organization that's been forced to consent to a trade package of Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, Luol Deng, and a ton of future first-rounders. Oh no, if Paul George were smarter, maybe Magic decided to postpone Kawhi for later on and make sure that they got PG3 in the bag by making it so that the Lakers really want to set up a meeting rather than just assuming he'll just join. We fill up the roster with draft picks, free agents on veteran minis, and undrafted free agents, of which have a combination of shooting, IQ, and defense. This is what the Lakers team could have been. Instead of consenting for LeBron's worst enemy and threatening Lonzo Ball with Rajon Rondo and so forth, the Lakers now have, partially per the Washington Post, the best player in the NBA, and many could be the 3rd best, and another top 20 player for Melo and Russ, along with a solid facilitator to boot in Lonzo Ball. And also give a shout out to Nerlens Noel, who is a guy that is capable of being a good defensive big man that can catch passes from the Big Four and do a decent job in the paint, among other things. With that, the Lakers stroll into the 2018-19 season as a star-studded team that actually could benefit from the Warriors getting DeMarcus Cousins, in the sense that this season could be a practice season of sorts to see what this team could do and what they can't. Obviously, the Lakers are not tanking, so they still should put their best foot forward, but I don't expect them to win the championship this year, as the West is pretty darn loaded and subsequently it will be pretty hard to make your presence felt, especially with Thanos playing. But once this team works out its expected 2010-11 Miami Heat-like chemistry problems, this team is certainly worthy of over 60 wins, I think, and would probably post something like 55 to 57 wins, whilst being practically tied with the Rockets as the 2nd best team in the West. Stats-wise, I expect Paul George to be the one to take a bit of a backseat, and scoring-wise, I think we'll have the threesome being the only 20-point scorers on the team. LeBron, I think, could put up something like 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Kawhi, I think, could put up 26, 5 and 4 with 2 steals to boot, whilst PG could put up something like 21, 6 and 3 with about 2 steals as well. Also, I feel that with these superstars, I think Lonzo become not Steph Curry, but rather a Rondo with a better rebounding ability, workhorse-like point guard, whilst putting up stats like 12, 8, and 8, whilst being one of the best defensive guards in the league, averaging close to 2 steals. Yep, with Zoe, Kawhi, PG, perhaps Noel, the Lakers would likely be at least a top 10, if not top 5 defensive team in the NBA, depending upon what their bench is like. Rounding out the stats, I think Nerlens could put up something like 7 to 10 points, 7 rebounds, and at least a steal a game. And he's got so much potential to be a really good defensive center. And as for the bench, due to the lack of funds, the Lakers bench would probably be on the bottom half of the NBA, depending upon who they sign and how they actually perform. And so with that, onwards to the playoffs. After ousting AD's Pelicans, the Big Four find themselves face to face with the Houston Rockets. The Rockets are coming off another great season in which James Harden posts averages of 27, 4, and 8. CP3 put up pretty good averages of 17, 5, and 7, whilst Clint Capella managed to establish himself as a top center in the NBA by averaging 14 and 12 with 2 blocks. The only thing holding the Rockets back, however, is the fact that Carmelo Anthony is a complete douchebag. The way I can describe his performance this year is like if you switch Paul George with Oladipo and Sabonis. If you switch Melo with Trevor Ariza and Luka Bahamute, you'll likely get better results from the latter. Just like how Sabonis and Oladipo combined outperformed Paul George, in my opinion. Melo this season averaged a career worst 14.44, while despite the fact that he did a good job offensively, he doesn't even contest the thought of being a role player taking a back seat. And thus, like he did with the Thunder, he holds back the Rockets from reaching their full potential. The series, however, is still pretty darn close, as both sides trade blows in Houston for LeBron James and Lonzo Ball post up triple-doubles accompanied by a 32-point outburst from PG. But the Rockets strike back by edging the Lakers by 5 as CP3 dumps 37 points and 13 assists on Lonzo Ball's head. However, in the next game, the Lakers do just enough as they hold the Rockets to just 88 points. But with the Rockets just barely ahead in Game 6, Clint Capella becomes an unsung hero, powering the Rockets with 3 straight slams to set up a Game 7 on the Lakers floor. There, the Rockets get out to an early start and attain a 5-point lead after the first. But then LeBron James shows why he's the next Lakers legend by dropping 17 points in the second quarter. Once again, the Lakers managed to outlast the Rockets offensively, and Lonzo Ball shows the world why he's one of the best defensive guards in the NBA by, at times, managing to clamp up Chris Paul. Meanwhile, the versatility of the Lakers' Big Three is just too much for the Rockets' Big Three to handle, and James Harden is dealing with keeping the Rockets alive until he encounters a shooting slump in the first half of the fourth quarter, and the Lakers pull away for the Game 7 dub. Quick note, I hope that what I think may happen in this series is somewhat accurate, because I'd much rather use WhatIfSports.com, but they've been dragging their butts as of late with their updates. Anyways, now it's time for the Lakers to face Thanos. A team is coming up wiping out half the living population of Salt Lake City. Now, let's not assume that this is a guaranteed win for the Warriors. Remember, the Lakers have 3 superstars as well versus the 5 balanced out all-stars that the Warriors have. Unfortunately, to sum up this series, the Warriors do prove to be too much. Though the Lakers still gave one with Kawhi Leonard picking up where he left off in 2017, that's a Piston now. The Lakers are put into a position where none other than Ian Clark hits a game winner for them. But then Thanos busts a move by beating the Lakers 3 straight times with an average of 11 points, victory margin-wise, and then finally finishing them off on their own floor as the Lakers fall victim to the death lineup and officially win the series in 6. And that's that for this season. This is how I think the Lakers could have had a much better team and how they could have done. Now, this is just my opinion. Who knows, the Rockets could have definitely beat this team. And some frustrated fans like the Warriors may as well sweep the Lakers. Some may even say the Lakers could win as low as 50 to 53 games due to working out the kinks and a bad bench. Anyways, if you happen to take a passing glance at this video, I am certainly and infinitely thankful. Be sure to subscribe. I plan on unleashing some more content like this. My next video is either going to be something about a potential Kawhi DeRozan trade, or a review of my United States Football League regular season and a breakdown of the aforementioned league's playoff. Be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, for I got the actual time to reply to your tweets. And without rambling on too much, have a great day.